So a very dangerous return man for the Tigers.
There he is, number 3, the sophomore out of New Orleans. Jarvis Landry joins him as well at the goal line. Only the 3rd meeting ever between Washington and LSU. Both previous games went to the Tigers, most recently in 2009. Special feel, and you see the breeze already. Had that problem at Texas A&M today, too, with the opening kickoff. A game won by Florida, if you missed it, just in front of us by 3. Big win for the Gators. And they're going to bring somebody over to hold it, I think. Watson will come and hold for Travis Coombs. Now we're set. Kick to the far side. Odell Beckham will bring it from 3 yards deep. Got to the 20. Ball might have come out at the end of the run. It did, and Washington's got it. What a way to start.
Last week, the Washington defense forced 3 turnovers, including one they picked up and scored with. What a better way to start for Washington there couldn't be on the opening kickoff, ripping the ball out and causing the fumble.
Taz Stevenson rips it out. And a scoring opportunity right from the start for Washington.
It started with a perfectly placed kickoff right into the corner of the end zone. So Beckham only had one way to go with that return, up the sideline. Not very much room. Perfect execution by the special team.
There's Keith Price. Really trying to take advantage immediately in the opening seconds of the first quarter. In the gun. The quick flip out. Payson Williams. And Williams down for a pickup of 4. Keith Price, a junior out of Compton, California. Sensational season a year ago.
And he just is the complete package. I mean, I have really enjoyed watching this guy on tape. Obviously, he was incredible in the Alamo Bowl win or loss to Baylor last year, but he outplayed RG3 clearly in that game from a statistical standpoint.
He had 7 touchdowns in that bowl game.
We're going to see a lot of throws like that first down throw out of his hand quickly.
Already in the red zone, courtesy of the fumble recovery on the kick. Price over the middle and dropped by Bishop Sankey on a crossing pattern. Had he held it, I think he would have gotten at least to the 5.
Bishop Sankey, will see him most of the night as the starting tailback. They lost James Collier last week to a knee injury, was the starting running back.
Todd, if LSU can hold them to a field goal here, that's a win for them.
I misspoke. Jesse Collier was the tailback they lost a week ago.
They got a huge tight end in Austin Seferian-Jenkins. That's one of their key weapons. 3rd down. Price rolls, fires to the corner. Did he keep it? Mickens. Incomplete. Ran out of room in the corner of the end zone.
I think he was bobbling it as he was going towards the corner. It was another well-thrown ball by Keith Price, right on the hands over the defender, but he bobbled it as he was going to the sideline, and an incomplete pass.
So that brings out the field goal units.
But you see the accuracy of Keith Price. If he's given time, he is an incredibly accurate thrower.
Travis Coombs missed his only field goal last week. He'll try from 34 yards away. And he splits the uprights to give the Huskies a lead on the road. And I think if you'd have told them 57 seconds in, we'll give you a field goal lead, they would take it. 3rd member of our team, Holly Rowe. Holly.
Well, guys, something we thought would be a big factor tonight is the heat. Last week, Washington played. It was 67 degrees in Seattle. Tonight, you can see we're upwards of 90 degrees. I just checked the heat index on my iPhone on an app, and it is 101 heat index. But it's got a great cloud cover there's a nice breeze, so if they could feel at home, Washington does right now. It's a big concern because they don't have the depth on the defensive line in some key positions. Steve Sarkisian also told us that he noticed last year against LSU, West Virginia did a great job of using tempo to run down these LSU Tigers. If it's cool and overcast like this, Sarkisian can use a lot more tempo, guys, in this ball game.
All right, Holly, don't melt while you're down there. We need you. 3-0 Washington. First field goal of the year for Travis Coons, junior college transfer from Mount San Antonio College. 4 plays, 4 yards on the scoring drive. It could have been a lot worse, and as I said, it's a victory of sorts for LSU that it was only a field goal.
It really was, because both passes that were dropped were well thrown and should have been completions, and probably should have been a touchdown for the Huskies.
Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry again back deep. And again, it's going to go almost the same spot. 5 yards deep, a little hesitation by Beckham, and now he brings it out. Across the 25, 30, and out to the 34. Much better return, and he held on to that one. 34-yard kickoff return. Zach Mettenberger making only his second start for the Tigers last week. Pretty impressive. One throw he'd like to have back, the interception.
Now, the interesting thing about his game last week, he had 26 pass attempts. 18 of his 26, I counted them on tape, were throws of 5 yards or less. I would not be surprised to see him first play action and try to throw the ball deep, because they didn't show that very much in the opening win against North Texas.
Alfred Blue, the tailback, in an eye set from the 34-yard line. Mettenberger and his receivers have a look to the sideline. Straight drop. Fires deep sideline. And in and out of the hands of Odell Beckham. As we take a look at our Chick-fil-A impact players for the Tigers. Jarvis Landry, the big play wide receiver. Kenny Hilliard and Alfred Blue, interchangeable. Both had over 100 yards last week on the ground. And Eric Reed, he's a guy that gambles once in a while, but an exceptional safety and their leading tackler a year ago. This guy was an All-American in the secondary a year ago. Tyrann Mathieu, and no longer a member of the team. Now just in the stands like everybody else. And here's a nice hit by Sean Parker, the captain of the defense, on Alfred Blue. So it's 3rd down 10.
I think what you're going to see out of this Washington defense is a lot of movement and shifts and changing of fronts. Justin Wilcox is the new defensive coordinator. The last 2 years he's been at Tennessee. So they played LSU the last 2 years. Last year they got beat pretty handily, but the year before they defended LSU extremely well. So he's familiar with this offense and familiar with the personnel.
Last week in their opening win over North Texas, LSU was 7 out of 14 on 3rd down conversions. A 3rd and 10 here. Mettenberger, pressure coming from the outside. He steps up in the pocket and fires high and incomplete. Odell Beckham probably should have had it, though. And Trey Watson was on the coverage.
Well, we've seen some butterfingers here to start the game, and that's a little nervous energy. A big game, jitters. Beckham dropped the kickoff, and now he dropped a pass that was in his hands. He let it get through his hands, and it hit him right in the face mask. Mettenberger did a very nice job of stepping up in the pocket and staying in there to deliver the throw.
Brad Wang will come in to punt for the first time this year. Had a little bit of a hamstring injury, so Jamie Keene punted a week ago. And the left footer will get this one away just outside his own 20-yard line. Kason Williams is back deep. Wow. Nice kick. Wow. Bounces at the 6 and is going to go out of bounds at the 4. Can't do it any better than that. 61-yard punt by Brad Wynn, and it's buried the Huskies in a hole, but they do lead by 3 when we come back. The Huskies back inside their own 5-yard line. Their second possession. First one netted them 4 yards, but a field goal following the opening kickoff fumbled by Odell Beckham Jr. So Keith Price going to be under center, otherwise he'd be standing in his own end zone. His tailback is. And he gets the carry. And got a couple. Bishop Sankey on the carry. Sam Montgomery made the stop. As we take a look at our impact players for Washington. The wide receiver, Kason Williams, he can do it all. And he's our leading receiver coming in. Safarian Jenkins, as I said, is a huge target. 6'6", 265-pounder. Josh Shirley, defensively, is a guy that comes off the edge. And he led them in sacks a year ago with 8.5. There's the tight end I'm talking about. You talk about a big target.
Yeah. Might be a good spot for him here, too, because of that size.
Price, play fake to the sideline and in and out of the hands of Kevin Smith. Good cover defensively.
One thing these LSU defensive backs very well, and Morris Claiborne, the first-round pick of the Cowboys, is here tonight. He was great at last year. At the last minute, watch Simon's hands go in there and rip the ball out. He's reading the receiver. He's actually beat on the route. Over the defense, he puts that right foot in the ground, and he can really whip the football. I mean, he is accurate, and he can make any throw that you would want him to make.
17 yards.
Pick up a 17 down to the 21.
Last week, he didn't throw the ball downfield very often. He was effective when he did, and the thing he wants to improve on this week is just speeding up his decision-making.
Now they go to the ground to Blue, and he got an opening on the left side. He might be gone. Yes! Touchdown, Tigers. Huge hole on the left side. J.C. Copeland, a fullback, was helping to lead the way, and Blue sprints to the end zone from 21 yards out. Drew Alamo in for the point after. Didn't take LSU long. 39 seconds to go 38 yards. And their win over North Texas. And so Blue, the starter, in this case, off to a great start. James Hairston will kick off. Kendall Taylor and Jadon Mickens await on the other end. And this one's going out the back of the end zone. It'll come out to the 25 as Todd takes us back to the touchdown.
Well, I want you to look at a couple things. The two safeties, Sean Parker and Will Schamberger, one's going to get blocked and the other one's going to take a bad angle. The block's going to come from this fullback. J.C. Copeland is just going to absolutely destroy Sean Parker to open up the hole. And then Schamberger takes a bad angle to Alfred Blue. He's unblocked, but he can't make the tackle because of the angle, and LSU's in the end zone.
Copeland, I think he got Parker 3 times on that.
He knocked his chin strap off. Wow. And you know what? That's a concern I have about this game with Washington. Their safeties are both around 5'11", 185 pounds. That's not quite big enough to tackle these guys.
The Huskies from the 25-yard line. They'll hand it off. Sankey going to be dropped in his tracks. No gain, maybe a loss. Kevin Minter, the middle linebacker, made the stop.
See, Washington has to try to establish some semblance of a running game. They don't have to gain a lot of yards, but they've got to keep the LSU defense honest, because a defense like this, that is this talented and this fast, if they totally one-dimensionalize your offense, they completely have the upper hand, and they will get after the quarterback.
Sankey had 66 yards last week, but it took him 22 carries. He got nothing on that last one. Empty backfield for Price. To the sideline, high, and caught, and look out for the sticks over there as it almost broke in half. Jason Williams made the catch, and one of his linemen down.
Oh, boy.
And that's Eric Kohler, and they can ill afford an injury at tackle right now. Last season in conference play, when you think about those numbers, remember that Andrew Luck played at Stanford, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, and Matt Barkley played at USC.
Exactly.
Pretty good, too. But this is not good, because Kohler was the starting right guard in the opener. They had to move him to start at right tackle today because of an injury last week to Ben Riva. And now Kohler is down with an injury.
And they're working on, it appears, the right leg, either knee or lower leg. So maybe get another look at it here. Erica Jr. out of Camarillo, California, and hard to tell.
Yeah. Now last week, Mike Christ, number 78, came in.
Here he comes again.
When Riva got hurt and Kohler stayed at guard. Now Christ will come in to take Kohler's place. And the reason this is troublesome for Washington is the strength of this LSU defense is clearly their defensive line. Not only are they talented, but they are deep. They rotate a lot of guys in this defensive front. And the pair of defensive ends that they have in Montgomery and Mingo are as good as any two in college football.
Keith Price has missed his last 5 passes. Only 1 for 6. LSU thinking about bringing an extra man or 2.
I think they're just baiting him.
Well, they're going to bring at least one more. That one's knocked down by Eric Reed. Price shaking his head. Things are not going as he had hoped here in the first quarter. So again, the Huskies are going to have to punt.
Well, you don't want to get 3rd and 10 against this defense. I mean, they're just too difficult when they get you in that situation. You've got to keep them in manageable down and distance. And so far, other than that opening possession, they haven't been able to do that.
Odell Beckham back there had a touchdown a week ago in the win over North Texas on a punt return. Corey Durkee would like to keep it away from him or hit it high enough that he has to call for a fair catch. Well, he hit it away from him in a great spot. Nice job by the punter. Durkee with a 53-yarder of his own. And LSU go back to work now, leading 7-3. 2 new head coaches look to keep the momentum rolling. Tim Beckham and the Illini heading west against Todd Graham's Sun Devils at Arizona State. Big Ten Pac-10, a Big Ten Pac-12 matchup. That's tonight, 10:30 on ESPN, and also live on Watch ESPN. Hi, guys. Ice cream looks good. On the 23-yard line, LSU, their last drive, just a couple of plays to get the 21-yard touchdown. Michael Ford now in at tailback. Gets the pitch. And got about 4.
Well, they feel like what Ford brings to the table is he's better on the perimeter, can do some things outside. Got an excellent block from Russell Shepard that time to spring him loose.
Gain of 7 on the play, so 2nd down and 3. Again, a straight pitch to him in the middle, and this time Andrew Hudson closes the door.
You know, we talked about the offensive line injuries and shuffling around with Washington. LSU had an issue this week too. They lost their starting left tackle Chris Falk to a knee injury on Wednesday, lost for the season. The good news for them is they've got a guy, Josh Durasic, who's a 6th-year senior who has started a lot of games in his career. They were able to plug him in there. He was really a guard, but he's playing left tackle tonight.
Basically helped coach last year when he got a medical red shirt to get that 6th year. So he got a lot of experience. 3rd down and 3. Mettenberger in the gun. And
This year he got the play off. I think the play clock ran down on him.
Layup game, offense, number 8, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
You know, and that seems like a rather trivial thing, but again, when you're a new quarterback and you're just getting your feet wet as a starter, the difference between 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 8 is significant. I mean, it's a much different play situation now for Zach Mettenberger. You know, you're trying to read the coverage and do all those things, but you also have to be aware of that play clock all the time.
Spencer Ware, number 11, checks in to flank Mettenberger with Alfred Blue in that backfield. Ware did not play last week. So seeing his first action of the season. 3rd and 8. Mettenberger fires. What a catch by Odell Beckham. And a penalty marker in the backfield. A 16-yard strike and a great grab.
I think we're going to tack on about 15 more, too, for a roughing the passer penalty at the end of the play.
Referee is Ken Williamson.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 22, over the head, 15 yards from the end of the run, automatic, 1st down.
Well, Josh Shirley, who we picked as one of our impact players because he can get to the quarterback, got to the quarterback's head.
Yeah. This is great concentration by Beckham. He dropped a pass earlier. This time he went up, caught it with his hands out in front of his body, and was still able to get the 1 foot in bounds for the completion.
Well, you can add, basically it was a 31-yard play, and it's down inside a 45-yard line already for LSU. We're not even the midway point of the first quarter, and they've got a 7-3 lead. Blue, flags down. You hear the chants of blue for Alfred. And again, a penalty mark at the line of scrimmage.
This LSU football team, its bread and butter is to run the football. Les Miles was an old offensive line coach. That's his background. They've got a talented offensive line and a ridiculous wealth of talent at the tailback position. I mean, it's amazing.
Foul, chop block, number 7 in the offense. 15 yards in the previous spot. Repeat first down.
Lyle Collins, the left guard, with the chop block, and that basically negates what they picked up at the end of that previous play. The line of scrimmage is going to be all the way back at the 41-yard line.
Well, those two big penalties negate each other.
Yep.
From a yardage standpoint, still first and very long for LSU.
First down, 25 to go. Play fake to Blue. Mettenberger loads and fires, and a drop ball again by Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, that's not the fault of the quarterback. I mean, Zach Mettenberger is reading the defense. He looks under control. He's throwing on rhythm, and they're really working these deep bench routes or post corner routes. And that time Beckham just took his eye off the football at the last minute and tried to take a glance at the corner, Trey Watson, before he secured the ball.
Mettenberger only 2 out of 5,
yeah,
but
should be 5 for 5.
Yep. 3 drops. Again in the shotgun on second down and 25. Gonna throw short. Where his safety valve puts his head down, went through Sean Parker and picked up additional yardage, got 9.
Well, you mentioned Spencer Ware didn't play last week. He had a knee injury early in the August camp. I mean, he was the go-to tailback last season, the leading rusher. And we talked about the talent that they have at tailback. I mean, they're 5 deep at that position right now of guys that they feel comfortable putting in the game. And that was indicative of what Spencer Ware can do with the ball in his hands.
Most teams have a hard time finding 2 guys in the backfield.
Like they all want in, too. Did you see him?
Yep.
I'm ready, Coach.
3rd and 16. Mettenberger on a crossing route. And a nice open field tackle by Watson on Alfred Blue.
It was a big stop for Washington. You know, they got the help with the penalty, the chop block. But they came back and made 2 pretty solid plays on 2nd and 3rd down. Even though LSU has the field position edge here with this punt, it was a good stop for the Huskies. This defense last year gave up 453 yards per game.
Brad Wing, this time he doesn't have to boom one. He just like to get it out of bounds where he put the last one, which was about the 4-yard line. This one bounces at the 4, and they can't save it. Touchback, and the Huskies will have it at the 20-yard line when we come back. 7:10 remain. Non-conference game wins. That's 1 shy of the record set by Kansas State that was ended in 2003. But there's a whole bunch of other streaks at stake in this night game where they almost never lose. Keith Price, empty backfield on first down. Going to flare it out to Jadon Mickens. Mickens got a block, and finally positive yardage. Pickup of 9 as we pick up for the first time tonight. Reese Davis. Reese.
Hello, Brad. Taco Bell studio update. Game was delayed for over an hour by weather. USC and Syracuse. Matt Barkley celebrating his 22nd birthday, finding Marquise Lee. It's 35-22 now as the Orange just went into the end zone. Barkley's thrown for 5 touchdowns. And look what the Beavers did to Bucky. Oregon State knocks off Wisconsin.
Short yardage for one of the first times tonight. And it's going to be a first down run by Desden Petty as we check in with Holly.
Washington right tackle Eric Kohler is done for the game. Guys, he dislocated his kneecap early in fall camp, and he has re-injured that same knee tonight. So Mike Chris will be your guy, but very inexperienced, just a sophomore, didn't play at all last year. And next to him, James Atoe is also in because you'll remember they lost Ben Riva to a broken arm. So very thin on the right side, both young sophomores.
It's probably one place they didn't need any kind of injuries. First down, though, their first of the game. And Price, that one bobbled and hit the ground. Kendall Taylor, freshman, had it and couldn't quite get his balance and hold it.
Yeah, this Washington offense just does not look in rhythm right now. Steve Sarkisian, I think, is a really strong play caller, and he's got to do some things to help his quarterback settle down there and get into a rhythm. It was funny. He told us last night, he said, as long as I can keep him smiling, I know I got him in the right spot. I don't think Keith is smiling yet.
No, he was smiling when we talked to him last night. He lights up a room with that smile, I'll tell you that. Price going to roll the throw here. And complete. Finally got one to his big tight end to pick up a 5. But they've had 13 plays, and they have 21 yards to show for it so far.
Well, this is a guy they have to get involved. I mean, he's athletic enough that they can do this. Put him out as a wide receiver. I mean, he's a big body at 6'6", 260 pounds, but he's athletic enough to run down the middle of the field or play out on the fringe as a wide receiver.
That was a pretty solid tackle by freshman Jalen Mills out there, wasn't it, against a guy that big? Third down, along 5 again.
Washington has yet to convert on this.
Price, look out from behind. Smothered by LeVar Edwards.
Well, Micah Hatchie, the left tackle, is looking in at the ball. I mean, he's trying to find the snap. These ends are too fast to do that. He's watching the snap, and by the time he gets his head around, the defensive end has run right by him.
The punt coming from Durkee. This one off the side of his foot. And wow, this is not going to be much of a gain on the punt. They still haven't spotted it. It looks like they're putting it around the 47-yard line, which gets them about, what, 18 yards maybe? So field position again is going to be in LSU's favor. Don't forget, Monday Night Football returns Monday. Primetime doubleheader. Susie Culver starts things off with Monday Night Countdown at 5 Eastern. At 7, it's the Bengals and the Ravens squaring off. And then doubleheader, 10:15 Eastern, the Chargers and the Raiders have at it. Monday Night Football on ESPN. 2 good games for you. Kenny Hilliard now in a tailback. He's going to get the carry. And penalty markers down on the play. Hilliard also with a career high I mentioned last week, had 141 yards in the opener.
Holding defense number 71. The penalty is 10 yards. Come into the run will result in a first down.
It's kind of a weird call on a defensive lineman, Danny
on a running play.
Yeah. I'm not sure who he'd want to be holding. He'd want to be being held. That would be the key. Usually see that in the secondary on a pass play or a linebacker.
Or if it's a lineman on a screen or something they're trying to throw quickly to a back.
So the Huskies aren't helping themselves in the penalty department either. Down to the 33-yard line. 1st and 10 LSU leading 7-3. Here's the pitch out to Michael Ford. Ford trying to get to the corner. He got there. He got around Parker before he got run out of bounds.
Well, that time we saw the other safety take a bad angle. Schamberger took a bad angle on Blue's touchdown, and this time Sean Parker took a bad angle to the outside on the sweep run by Michael Ford, and they got close to the first down.
LSU without a huddle on 2nd down at 2, and a quick pitch again to Ford. And Ford gets it in gear. Inside the 20, he's in the red zone down to the 17-yard line. Pick up of 8.
Did you see the blocking out in front? I mean, it looked like just a wall of white jerseys, and at the last minute, Ford decided to cut in. Watch this movement. Fullback, wide receiver, tackle, just a wall of white jerseys. That's an easy run for Ford.
And now Spencer Ware comes in there. He's the smaller of the backs. On a first down at the 17-yard line. LSU looking to add to its 7-3 lead. Ware gets the carry straight up the middle. And Ware's to the 10. Desmond Trufant made the tackle, but not before Spencer Ware gets a good gain on the play.
They ran for 316 yards last week against North Texas. Gained 507 yards, which is the most since a game since 2007 for this LSU offense. And They have got it cranked up right now.
55 rushing yards already for the LSU backs. 2nd down and 3 from the 10. Ware again. He's got a first down. He might have nearly a touchdown. It's about the 1-foot line. It looks like he's anxious to play after not playing last week, doesn't it?
Wants to secure his spot in the rotation. Physical guy, 225 pounds. Actually lost a little bit of weight from last year. Looks a little quicker. Dragging Travis Freeney to the goal line.
I'm going to say his knee was down at the 2. So that now big J.C. Copeland, the 272-pound fullback's in there, and he's going to get the carry. And he didn't get in, but he got close. J.C. carried it 4 times last week, including a touchdown.
Yeah. Has to be like a dream come true for him. He was a defensive lineman. And you look at the talent and the depth of defensive linemen on this roster, and hard telling how much he was going to play. And they said, hey, you ever played fullback? He said, yeah, I did in high school. And they moved him over, and not only is he starting, he actually gets to run the ball some.
And not only that, they think he's just going to get better and better as he maybe gets a little bit lighter, gets down in that 260-pound range. Right now, he's the up man in the eye, and he gets another carry. And this time, he's in. Touchdown. J.C. Copeland, 1-yard touchdown plunge, and that puts a smile on his head coach's face. And his former teammate looking on as the Tigers have stretched it to 13-3. That was just too easy for LSU if you're a Husky fan. 7 plays and 47 yards in 2.5 minutes. And Alamo adds the point after. So the Tigers have had a couple of short fields to work with, and they have taken advantage. 38-yard drive, a 47-yard drive. That one capped by a 1-yard plunge, and it's 14-3 LSU. James Hairston has teed it up. If you wonder why I say Hairston's number 30 and so is Alamo, both kickers for LSU are number 30. Same story for the Huskies on the other side. This kick might be returnable. 3 yards deep. Jadon Mickens bringing it out. Weaving his way across the 20. Spin move. Mickens, a freshman, tracked down from behind, but nice return. 30 yards. We check in and return with Reese Davis. Reese.
All right, Brad, check in on how the Ducks are rolling. I mean rolling against Fresno State. Marcus Mariota, the Colt Laerla, the big tight end, breaking a tackle and rumbling into the end zone. And Chip Kelly's offensive express is rolling already, 21-3.
Fresno State hasn't won a game in that series in 30 years and not off to a good start tonight. Here, same story for Washington. They've run 14 plays. They have 15 yards of offense.
Not sure why they're still in the huddle so long. The play clock is down inside of 15 right now.
Price going to throw back the other way to Sankey. And Sankey trying to outrun that LSU defense is tough to do. They've got that great pursuit speed, but he did get 5 yards.
Yep. And that's almost like a run. You know, I mean, they're not going to be able to run a lot of successful plays, but they've got to get something going from their running backs.
And that field goal, again, was after 3 plays after the opening kickoff was fumbled. And from that point on, LSU has dominated defensively. If they can keep it the 2nd down at 5 range, it would help their cause.
Yep.
Safarian Jenkins in motion and now settle in the backfield. Price going to flare it out to him. But the LSU defense is waiting. He might have lost a yard. Luke Muncy let him have it, the linebacker.
If things are open against this defense, they don't stay open very long because of their speed. I mean, they have great speed from top to bottom on the defense. John Chavis in his 5th year here, 4th year. Came from Tennessee, long-time defensive coordinator for the Volunteers under Philip Fulmer.
So they did lose yardage on that pass play. It's 3rd down and 7. They're 0 for 4 on their 3rd down conversions. Price, quick slant, incomplete. Intended for Kendall Taylor, and Jalen Mills knocked it away.
Jalen Mills is really the guy who is in there with the absence of Tyrann Mathieu. He's a true freshman right out of high school from DeSoto, Texas. Beat out a redshirt freshman, Jalen Collins, for that starting corner position. And very athletic, hard-nosed kid, and made a nice play on that one.
It was Tyrann Mathieu that you saw in the crowd. As Durkee, this punt is going to fall short of the return man, but the bounce is going to be good for the Huskies. Down inside the 20. That one turns out a little better for him. Got to the 18-yard line. Got a penalty marker back at the line of scrimmage. So the officials talking things over. They've given us no preliminary indication. They'll let us know right now.
Illegal formation, kicking team. The 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the return. First down.
So that'll bring it out to the 23-yard line. Tyrann Mathieu last year was a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. And what does LSU miss when they got a guy like that? Violated school policy. Right now he's in school and going to school, going to class. But last year he was just all over the field, Todd, and he's one of those guys who's got a knack for things that sometimes you can't coach.
Yeah, he was just a guy who made big plays.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a knack for being in the right place at the right time, great anticipation, and you know, you just hope that he's on the right course now for his life, and whether he ever plays football here again or anywhere else, he's got to get on the right course as far as his decision making. He was a great decision maker on the field, was not always a great decision maker off the field.
Basically, Les Miles and the rest of the coaches for LSU said, you know, we got to coach the guys that are here, but we definitely wish him well, and we hope he's making all the right choices. That's what Les had to tell us yesterday, and we echo that sentiment. So they're going to punt again. It wasn't a penalty that could be added on to the end of the return. I think they finally determined that as they had a little conference, and now it'll be Durkee to punt again. And this time Odell Beckham's going to have a shot at it from the 22. Made the first man miss and then got drilled at about the 30-yard line. So LSU has had, with the exception of that opening kickoff that they fumbled, they've had things going well for them as far as field position. This time they're going to have to earn it a little bit because they're going to start at their own 30-yard line. But so far tonight, Zach Mettenberger's been pretty efficient, and the ground game, just like last week, is just churning up yardage.
Yeah, and the thing about Mettenberger, he hasn't shown any signs of discouragement with those drops early in the game. You know, he should have been 5 for 5 to start the game. He looks comfortable. He looks aware. He looks like his decision-making is a little quicker, and then that offensive line in the running game is starting to take its toll a little bit on this Husky defense.
He'll drop back on first down here and flushed out of the pocket. Finally decides to get the yard or two that he can and then hit the turf. Shaq Thompson, the freshman in the secondary, made the stop for Washington. Zach, a big fella, 6'5", 230-pounder out of Watkinsville, Georgia, again this year.
They were the AP #1 team in the country for 11 consecutive weeks during the season last year, and then ended up losing that game to Alabama 21-0.
Second down and 8. Quick slant. Mettenberger puts it on James Wright, and Wright still on his feet as he crosses midfield, and he's still going down to the 45-yard line. Pickup of 23.
Well, two defenders for the screen. They're gonna run a screen and a slant, and both defenders are going to go for the quick screen, and nobody covers the slant. There should be one on one and one on the other instead of two on the screen.
So just outside the 45-yard line. As you look behind Alfred Blue and J.C. Copeland in the I backfield, there's Zach's numbers. But 3 drop passes. It's Blue. Runs into that Husky defense and keeps on plowing. Keeps his footing and goes for 8 yards.
See the difference, the obvious difference between the two offenses in this game right now and the two quarterbacks play is LSU's running game is effective, and so play action and LSU can throw when they want to and not when they have to. And Keith Price has no assistance with the running game right now, and LSU has really pinned their ears back and pressured him.
Again, second and short, what you love to be in. And Blue again picks up 4 on a first down. Andrew Hudson finally brought him down, but he's 220 pounds. He's a big guy and hard to bring down.
Again, this is a Washington defense that is not very big to begin with. They got a couple guys inside, a couple pluggers, but they're built for speed, and they're built more to defend teams in the Pac-12 than they are to defend an offense like this with LSU.
So after Blue takes a breather, he's the guy that shake, and that bait is in there. And that's Kenny Hilliard. And Kenny gets the call. Inside the 30. And they'll slow it dead at the 29-yard line. Kenny Hilliard, the nephew of Dalton Hilliard. Sensational running back here for LSU, who ended up being their number 2 all-time rusher in his days in Baton Rouge. Kenny's mom, Brenda, is Dalton's sister. There's what he's done so far. A couple of carries. Last week, he had 141, which is a career high on 13 rushes. Second down at 6. Mettenberger, quick drop, and again the quick slant. Got it complete to the same guy, James Wright. And it's first and goal, LSU.
It was the same play. They faked the quick screen, which they threw a ton last week, and 2 defenders go on the quick screen and they don't cover the slant again. Again, last week, Zach Mettenberger attempted 26 passes. 18 of them were on throws of 5 yards or less, and a lot of them were wide receiver screens or bubbles, and Washington really zeroed in on that in this game, but they've left the slant alone.
And the Huskies, if they don't make an adjustment, Todd, that thing's there all night.
Yeah.
First and goal, they're a man short, are the Huskies, on their defensive fronts. And now they may have taken a timeout here to try to get settled.
Timeout, Washington. First timeout this half.
So they'll have a chance to try to come up with what they hope is a stop of this LSU offense. That'll have a first and goal of the 7 when we come back.
Answer for this LSU offense. Excellent play calling, mixture of run and pass, a calm Zach Mettenberger, and then a powerful offensive line and backfield.
Claymore and Jacobs, 2 tight ends in there as Hilliard gets to the 5.
You know, LSU has an unusual coaching situation. Greg Stadrawa is the offensive line coach, and he's also the offensive coordinator, which you don't see that very often, a line coach being a coordinator. What you really don't see is a line coach who is up in the press box and not on the field where he can talk with those guys. That's Greg in the middle with the glasses, doing a nice job of calling plays, and he said he needed to be in the box in order to see a lot of the defenses, because they do so much check with me at the line of scrimmage, changing plays, and he needed to see it better.
From the 5, the toss to Hilliard. Weaving his way behind his blockers, but only about a yard gain. Nice job by the Husky defense to stiffen. Thomas Tutogi, the inside linebacker, made the hit.
Just to finish that up, now the quarterback coach, Steve Craigthorpe, and a lot of times quarterback coaches are up in the box and talk to the guy on the phone. He's down on the field, so he has personal contact with Zach Mettenberger every possession in between series. But the offensive line coach, it's very different. He communicates with the center, P.J. Lonergan, on the phone, and then the center talks to the rest of the linemen about the messages from upstairs.
The Tigers bringing in extra wide receivers for the 9th play of the drive, and it's 3rd and goal at the 4. Mettenberger in the shotgun, and you see the 4 wide out grouping. Slant. This time the Huskies are ready for it. It got to the 1-yard line. Now will the Tigers go at the 1 on 4th and goal.
That was a good hit by the safety, Sean Parker.
Les is saying, where's it at? Where's it at? You can read his lips.
If Sean Parker comes to help and goes low, the receiver falls over him into the end zone for a touchdown. He hit him high and kept him out of the end zone.
And Coach Miles has decided to kick the field goal at the 1-yard line.
I think this is the right call. I mean, put points on the board. You had another positive drive. You've got all the momentum in the game.
Drew Alomar on the kick, and it's good. 18-yard field goal adds to the lead and gives the Tigers a 2-touchdown advantage. 10:02 remaining first half. LSU 17-3. Plays and 18 total yards.
Yeah. Well, they've got to do a better job on first down. I mean, they've had 6 first down plays, 3 runs and 3 passes, but not gaining very many yards, and they can't compete against these guys effectively on third down because of the speed of the pass rush. So first down, critical from here on out.
Hairston to kick. This one will be returnable from the goal line. But they're not going to get out to the 20. Put down at about the set. Ball came out at the end. I'm not sure if the play was dead or not. It ends up back at the 10-yard line. Coverage of Major League Baseball continues tomorrow night on baseball's biggest stage. It's the Dodgers and the Giants in a tight NL West race. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell, 8 o'clock tomorrow night Eastern Time. Also live on WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app. Dodgers and Giants tomorrow. Got a Braves fan here. Some Husky fans from a long way from home have come to Baton Rouge, and their team hasn't played like they had hoped so far. Keith Price running for his life, fires on a run, out of bounds. Actually caught out of bounds, but he ends up also tossed out of bounds.
This LSU defense, again, so far making things very miserable for Keith Price. What they're missing from last year, we've already talked about Tyrann Mathieu, but also defensive tackle Michael Brockers, who was a first-round draft pick of the St. Louis Rams. Morris Claiborne, who's here tonight, first-round draft pick, cornerback for the Dallas Cowboys. They don't seem to have missed too much of a beat
Not yet.
at this point.
Second down at 10. Price in the shotgun. Again, flushed out of the pocket. Got to get rid of it. Throws back across his body. That was close to being picked off. And Keith Price slow to get up. Markevius Mingo was the guy that was putting the pressure on him.
Markevius Mingo is not the biggest defensive end. In fact, he's pretty lean, but he has great speed, 4.5 speed. You see him closing on the quarterback, Keith Price, there.
Nobody open back there. Third down and long. Price has a look to the sideline. 7 on the play clock. Now they're going to have to hustle.
Well, they're not going to get it off.
No. Too much time.
Delay of the game, offense, number 17, 5-yard penalty. It remains third down.
Steve Sarkisian putting those palms down as if to say, just calm down.
Yeah, he's telling them it's okay. It's okay. Come on. Stay with me here. See, what makes LSU tough is they take Darrell Simon and they're just going to lock him up down here. They can lock him up on the bottom and play a lot of combination things on the other side of the defense.
Here's the situation you don't want to get yourself in against an LSU defense. Third down at 15.
Especially with 2 new offensive linemen starting in the game now.
Pressure coming. Price throws on the run, and he throws a strike for a first down to Safarian Jenkins. So that quiets the crowd momentarily.
And what Price did a beautiful job of was keeping his eyes downfield. Watch as the pocket starts to collapse around him and he steps up. He keeps his vision downfield and finds his receiver. And that's what you hope a quarterback will do. Feel the rush, but see the field. And he did that perfectly for a first down.
That was a pretty nice throw on the move. Now they fake the end around. They go back to the ground game that loses 2 more yards. Right now they're at -5 rushing here in the first half.
This defense last year finished the season second in the country in running defense, holding opponents to 90 yards a game. Alabama was number 1 in the country. They were also second in the country in total yards allowed.
2nd and 12. Kevin Smith in motion. Price rolls that way and throws, floats one out to Smith, who gets about 5 before he's run out of bounds. So again, they won't be in quite as long a yardage situation on third down. Boy, if they could just get something going here and at least switch the field again with a punt, it would help the cause. Only one conversion on third down passing for Keith Price so far. This one will be 3rd and 7. Missing one of his offensive linemen. Deep out of bounds. Jalen Mills again covering on Safarian Jenkins. And they will have to punt. Corey Durkee, a freshman punter, set to kick it away to Odell Beckham Jr. High punt. Odell Beckham Jr. with a fair catch taken right near the 30-yard line. 2-touchdown advantage for LSU with 8:08 to go first half. School and got his degree. Shaq comes back for a lot of sporting events. LSU on the ground again with Alfred Blue for 4.
Thought it was funny. Yesterday we were at the Washington Hotel having meetings, and Shaquille was over there for some reason. And Steve Sarkisian told us, he told his Shaq Thompson, a highly recruited guy, that's the real Shaq. He said, no, that's the basketball Shaq.
Right.
I'm the football Shaq, coach.
The football one they got's a true freshman who's going to be a heck of a player. He just missed trying to intercept the pass, and Jarvis Landry took it to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, in high school, Shaq's probably going the other way for 6 with that one. But Zach Mettenberger has an NFL arm, and as Thompson tries to cut underneath it, he can't get there. It's a beautiful throw to Landry, and that miss causes extra yardage added after the catch.
First down, they spot it at the 46. LSU right back in Husky territory. Zach Mettenberger has hit his last 6. Going to hand it off to Blue. Or a couple, maybe 3.
I got to say, I know we've only played not quite a half, but in watching LSU play football for the last few years, I mean, this is the best their offense has looked to me in terms of run-pass balance.
Right.
I mean, they're calling a good game. Mettenberger is accurate throwing it, and it's going to make them even more difficult to defend.
He easily completes that one out of the flat, and it's all the way to the 30-yard line to Alfred Blue. Helmet comes off of Will Schamberger, so he's going out for a play. There's actually a flag back at the 40-yard line, which I didn't see until just now.
You go back to that championship game loss as we await the call here.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense number 88 was covered up by another eligible receiver. That penalty is 5 yards. Repeat, second down.
Chase Clement, the tight end, with a formation problem. And
see, what Les Miles is saying is the ball was thrown behind the line of scrimmage. And if that was the case, then there would be no penalty for having an illegal man downfield. Not sure if it was or not. It was a swing pass.
But the officials are still talking about it out there.
The point I was making, in that championship game loss to Alabama, they had 92 yards of total offense and 5 first downs and no ability to throw the football.
Correction, the pass was caught behind the line of scrimmage. Therefore, there can be no foul for an eligible receiver downfield. Result of the play for the first down.
They got it straight and got it right, and the coach was right.
This offense right now looks dramatically different. I mean, it really does. I mean, they've got better balance and more rhythm offensively than I've seen from them in a long time.
Well, Jordan Jefferson would have a sporadic game where he played okay, and Jarrett Lee likewise, but this kid, he can spin it pretty good. And a first down at the 30.
This is a check with me. A run play called. If they uncover the wide receiver, they can throw it.
It's a stretch play to Blue. Got the corner. And he's got about 10 more. Tough run. Boy, he finishes every play.
See, last week, they would go check with me at the line of scrimmage, and if there were not 3 guys over here defending these 2 receivers, if they were all in the box, they would throw. This time, Washington says 3 defenders to defend the pass, so the numbers say to run the football. And that's good offensive football. Count the numbers. Does it say run or does it say throw? And Zach Mettenberger made the right call.
Mettenberger in a shotgun on a second down and short at the 20-yard line. And easily they pick up the first down as we check in with Reese Davis. Reese?
All right, Brad, got a good one going on between Nebraska and UCLA. Brett Hundley's been impressive in his first couple of starts. Youngster going up top to Joseph Fourier for the touchdown, and UCLA jumped on top without Rex Burkhead. Huskers turning to Amir Abdullah. He turns the corner, 7-7 in the first quarter.
Here it is 17-3, and LSU in the red zone so far. 2 touchdowns and a field goal. They're back in there right now at the 15-yard line. Blue stood up by Shaq Thompson at the line of scrimmage. Got only a yard.
Shaq Thompson was one of the most highly recruited guys in the country last year. He was recruited as a safety. He was also an outstanding offensive player, a running back, but he wanted to be a defensive football player. He's playing kind of an outside linebacker hybrid nickelback position in the defense right now. But he is, you can see he's a very physical guy. For a kid who came right out of high school, he's put together pretty well and is a physical player.
Sure is. Second down at 10. Kenny Hilliard back in at tailback. They fake it to him. Mettenberger flush out of the pocket. Fires on the run. Touchdown. No. Dropped. Russell Shepard had it and dropped it. Should have been a touchdown.
Well, what a great job by Mettenberger. We talked about Keith Price leaving the pocket but keeping his eyes downfield, throwing with accuracy on the move. He had that all the way until he hit the ground. I mean, this was a clean catch, a beautiful throw. You know what? I think that's a touchdown. I think his back is completely on the ground before the ball comes out.
Trey Watson's the guy that hit him in the end zone. LSU's coming out to what appears to be a third down at 10. Here we go on third down. Mettenberger fires. This one's too strong and a little bit behind Russell Shepard. And Trey Watson again was on the coverage. That'll bring out the field goal unit again. So second straight time LSU's had to settle for 3, or at least an attempt for 3 here. And Washington and Justin Wilcox, their defensive coordinator, take any stop they can get right now just to stop the bleeding a little bit.
Well, it just keeps them within striking distance, you know. I mean, and you hope that their quarterback gets hot and they can make a couple big plays. And so these stops are critical for Washington right now.
Drew Alama hit earlier from 18. This will be a 32-yard field goal attempt. And it is perfect. Second straight field goal for Alama. And it adds to the LSU lead. 20-3 is the score now for LSU. Could have been more on what almost looked like a touchdown. Keith Price been a tough night for the quarterback of the Huskies. Guy that put up huge numbers last year. And without a doubt, he's still their hope tonight if they're to get back in the football game.
Yeah. Well, LSU has just been much more efficient on offense. There's no question about it.
And this one's deep, and he'll let it go. Kevin Smith will bring it out to 25, and we check in with Reese Davis. Reese?
Brad, as an assistant coach, Bob Davie, 10-1 all-time against Texas. His Lobos, the head coach now, taking on the Longhorns, and on 4th and 1, David Ash gets loose. Now, I don't think those Lobos won't continue to fight now. But Ash is going to go in from 49 out. Longhorns up 7-0.
Well, his last 2 starts, David Ash, 2-0. Thrown a couple of touchdown passes, no interceptions, and then that run to give the Longhorns the lead. We had a late flag at the end of that touchback, and that's kind of hard to do.
After the play was over, personal foul, return team number 47. The penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
Boy, on basically a dead ball, Scott Lawyer with the personal foul, and so they would have had decent field position. Instead, they'll be back half the distance at the 12.5. Can't make mistakes against a team like LSU, especially when you're struggling on both sides of the ball.
Well, they've had no explosive plays out of their offense so far in the first half. That would be a run of over 10 yards or a pass completion over 15 yards. They just have not had anything of impact so far.
3 wideouts. It's Kevin Smith in motion. Play action. Price. He's going to throw this one in the ground, and we got a flag down. We might have a holding and an intentional grounding. We got a lot of things going on here. Chancey Agayeri was the guy that was bringing the pressure.
Two fouls on the play. Holding, offense number 70. That penalty will be declined. Intentional grounding, number 17 of the offense. That penalty will be accepted. The penalty will be placed at the spot of the foul and includes a loss of down. It's second down.
Keith Price that time just spit the bit on the play because he knew it was going nowhere, but he didn't get outside the tackle box, and there was nobody near the football.
Well, if you get outside and throw it across the line of scrimmage, you're okay. He did neither, and that drew the flag.
Now they're really going to hear about it. The Huskies down near their own end zone. 2nd and 21 from the 2. Price has to get rid of it in a hurry. On the sideline, and a nice throw out to Kevin Smith. And it's close to a first down. Pick up a 20. Well, they needed that one.
Yeah, they sure did. There's a little hole right between the corner and the safety coming to help, and that's where Keith Price put the football. A beautiful throw and a much-needed play at the right time.
And Eric Reed at the end of the play did lead with his shoulder. That was such a bang-bang play on the sideline. It looked like it might have been a helmet-to-helmet, but it was not. It was a clean hit out of bounds. 3rd down and 1. Huskies, the play action. Price going to throw it short, complete to his tight end, who hurdles a man, and then got leveled out of bounds by Craig Loston.
I made a comment about the safeties in this game, and you look at these two safeties for LSU. Eric Reed is the guy who's going to get jumped over on this play by Safarian Jenkins, and Loston is the guy who makes the tackle. But both of these safeties are 6'2" and well over 200 pounds. They're physical guys. If you want to play against Alabama, if you want to play against Arkansas, teams in this league that can run the football and are physical, you have to have big physical safeties who can come up and give support in the running game. And LSU has them.
Huskies have put together a couple of first downs, though. They're going to blitz here on first down. The throw's complete out to Cason Williams, and they've had kind of a tough time getting him the football, but they do there. Holly?
Well, before this drive, Steve Sarkisian, the coach of Washington, and also their offensive coordinator, pulled the whole offense aside. He really got in their face, was yelling at them, hey, guys, we have time to make something happen. Keith Price came out of that with a big smile on his face. He said 5 minutes is an eternity. We'll score by 7. We'll be that much closer.
He just got rid of that pass and almost had it intercepted by Loston. But there was pressure coming from the backside, but Price hung in there and got rid of it.
He tried to make that same throw in between the corner and the safety in that soft spot, but this time he held it a little bit longer, and Sam Montgomery almost got the sack.
Defense, number 24. The penalty is 5 yards and will result in a first down.
So a penalty will give the Huskies a first down. I think it was on Thorold Simon. So they moved the sticks. They finally got something moving in a positive direction here late in the second quarter. 3:45 remaining in the half. Trailing 20-3. From the 44-yard line. They'll keep it on the ground, something they've tried to establish in this first 2 quarters, and it hasn't worked. They got 3 yards there.
But remember, because of the last couple of possessions LSU had in the red zone and moving the ball right down the field and drop touchdown passes and those things, settling for field goals, Washington still very much in striking distance. And if they could score even a field goal before the end of the half, they're still right in the football game.
There's the guy they don't have. That's Jesse Collier, who suffered a knee injury last week. He can only look on that Husky bench. 2nd down, 6. Price, play action, flushed out of the pocket again. Pump fakes, and now he'll keep it, and he's going to get leveled from behind. And he just didn't feel Marquevius Mingo coming from that backside. They call him Kiki. The guy we talked about earlier, one of the captains of the defense.
Well, he's got great speed. He's at the bottom of the screen. He's going to rush up the field. He doesn't give up on the play, even though there's 2 guys assigned to blocking him, and chases down the quarterback from the backside.
Third down. This might be 2-down territory for the Huskies right here. Just shaded into LSU's side of the field. They need to keep this going if they're to get any points before halftime. 3rd down and 3. And they're going to take a timeout.
Play clock was running down on him, and Steve Sarkisian knew it. Wanted to make sure he has exactly what he wants here on this big 3rd down play.
With 2:12 remaining, we've got time now for the answer to our Aflac trivia question. There you go. Dalton Hilliard, who's the uncle of Kenny, had 4,050 career rushing yards to be number 2 all time. Who was the leader, or who is the leader, should I say? Kevin Falk. 45-57. And went out to the Patriots and won 3 Super Bowl titles. Played 8 years in the NFL. And he was a great one. 95-98 here. The Huskies back on the field after that quick timeout, not wanting to waste a 3rd down opportunity. It's the first time they've actually driven into LSU territory. The first time they got it, remember, was on the fumbled kick return to open the ball game. 3rd down and 3.
Keep an eye on Safarian Jenkins. He's right here.
LSU almost jumps. Price, a little fade to the sideline, broken up by Jalen Collins. And a penalty marker on the play.
The scary thing about this LSU defense.
Offside. Defense number 89.
They did jump.
5-yard penalty will result in a 1st down.
So Lamar Edwards, that left defensive end, I thought he got a little step into the neutral zone. Here's another look right there, and they got the snap and the flag.
Good break for Washington,
yeah,
because that was well defended on the outside by Collins.
Second 1st down by penalty on this drive. So a little bit of concern on the face of Les Miles, even though comfortably ahead 17-3, but now it's putting a little pressure on their defense because the Washington Huskies have got their offense working a little bit. Whoop, look out, Price. Oh, he got away from Edwards. And he'll go out of bounds with about a 2-yard loss. I'm not sure how he got away from LeVar.
Yeah, I'm not either. LeVar Edwards is 6'5", 260 pounds, and he had both hands on him and couldn't get him to the ground. I mean, I have no idea how he slipped out of that. Look at that. Both of those big paws on him, and all he could do is spin him around.
That must have been like centrifugal force or something.
Wow.
So 2nd down and 10.
And he was able to throw that ball away right before he stepped out of bounds, so actually, and not lose yardage.
Yeah, so it was an actual incompletion there, right at the line of scrimmage. Sankey back in there in the backfield. And again, LSU may have jumped. Running play, loses a couple. And that's how I didn't see a flag. We're down to 1:45 remaining in the half. Third down and long coming up. Well, this is more than likely 2-down territory as well. If they don't get it, it's too far out for a field goal at this point anyway.
LSU showing bump and run coverage, which suggests man-to-man coverage with a deep safety in the middle for Keith Price.
In a hurry. Just got the play off. Price in trouble again on the run. Flags down. It's going to be a holding call, I think, in the backfield. The pass is incomplete.
Well,
holding offense number 64. Penalties declined. 4th down.
Decline the penalty because they're too far out for a field goal attempt.
We talked about the strength of this LSU team is their defensive front. And that's Benny Logan, who is their best defensive tackle. He was an outstanding player a year ago. You're an LSU fan. Last year he wore number 93. This
Right.
year he's number 18.
Tanagawa was the guy caught holding out his jersey. So they have to punt, and that's really demoralizing. I think it's got to be for the Huskies, who had something working there and hoping to get some points before halftime, which is 1 minute away, and that's when we'll be joining Reese Davis. But we join him right now. Reese.
Brad, coming up on the Buick halftime report in Corvallis, the Beavers beat the Badgers, a Pac-12 cellar dweller, able to jump up and beat the two-time reigning Big Ten champions. We'll also look ahead to what's going to happen with Georgia, Missouri. They're playing tonight. Look back at Texas A&M and Florida, a hard-fought game. Also give you our takeaways from the first part of the day. Mark and Lou join me. We'll see you in just a little bit.
I think in the last 11 games against top 15 teams, Oregon State has 6 wins, including the one today. So they're tough at home against somebody that they're not supposed to beat.
It's a good win for Mike Riley.
That is big. Zach Mettenberger takes a knee, and that draws a few boos from the sellout crowd here. But comfortably ahead by 17 points. Les Miles not going to take any chances. And we'll head to the locker room up by 17. LSU has done pretty much anything they'd wanted on the ground, through the air. A good mix, as Todd said, of pass and run.
I think the only negative I've seen from the LSU offense in the first half has been drop passes.
Right.
You know, a couple penalties and 4 drop passes. One of them was a touchdown.
And with that, Mettenberger's numbers would be extremely impressive. They already are the way it was. There he'll take the last knee of the half. So the Tigers at home, where they have an 18-game home winning streak, 2 quarters away from adding to it. Let's go to Holly.
Well, Coach, last week we saw a real short passing game for Zach Mettenberger in his first game, but you're going longer downfield. Why are you taking the leash off him a little bit today?
No, it's all part of the plan. We were going to do that all along. It was the same thing last week. Maybe you just didn't quite see it that way.
Coach, you've been in the red zone a few times that had to settle for field goals. What can you do to be a little more efficient there?
Yeah, I think we're, you know, we had a couple balls sitting right in our hands, too, and didn't pull it in. Maybe we need to run it down there a little bit more.
Your left tackle is held up, though, Josh Jurasik. How do you think he's doing?
So far, so good. I like the way the line's playing, but this is the first half. First half, nothing's decided.
Thank you, Coach.
See ya.
So Les echoes what Todd had to say. Drop passes, or it would have been even more impressive for LSU. They lead by not the kind of play that he's capable of. Let's put it that way. They'll get the football first, though, to start the third quarter. That's Shaq Thompson, the freshman. And for the second time tonight, we have the ball blow off the tee. A little breeze, and actually it's really helped the cause tonight, as far as usually it's hotter and muggier. The humidity not quite so high tonight. And there you see the flags atop Tiger Stadium, showing that we've got a pretty good wind blowing around Baton Rouge tonight. James Hairston will start the third quarter with the kickoff. And Shaq Thompson will shag this down 6 yards deep in the end zone, and he'll decide to take a knee as we check in with Holly Rowe. Holly?
Well, I caught up with University of Washington head coach Steve Sarkisian at the half and asked him, in that last drive they seemed to move the ball, pick up some first downs. What could they find in that to lean on here in the second half? And he said tempo. He'd been reluctant to use it, thinking that this temperature might wear his team out. He wanted them to come out with more energy here in the second half. But guys, it's downright pleasant out here. We might be in Seattle right now because it is very cool, very lovely. So he said, look for us to lean on tempo here in the second half.
Well, that's something that gave LSU a little bit of trouble against West Virginia last year. So if they could duplicate that in any form or fashion in these next 2 quarters, they'd take it.
Well, Geno Smith in that game threw for 463 yards, and they went tempo the entire game.
Flags fly. We don't get the first play off. Hartvigson, the tight end, I think might have come out of his stance.
False start, offense, number 84, 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
And that's the call.
Yep. 7th penalty of the ball game for Washington.
You come out and you want to get that momentum going that Holly was talking about, and then you don't even get the snap, and you're 1st and 15 now. And Steve Sarkisian lets his tight end know as he comes out. Kevin Smith in motion toward the ball. They keep it on the ground, and no gain again. This is Desmond Petty.
of the problems for Keith Price in this offense, as you see, no running game, and then when they passed, LSU has been able to generate a lot of pressure with just a 4-man rush, and when you can do that, that allows you to play pass coverage with 7, and this LSU pass defense in the back end has been all over the Washington receivers. When you have extra guys back there that can double or take things away and generate pressure with 4, it makes it very difficult.
Sankey back into the backfield again now to flank Price. Safarian Jenkins, the tight end, is going to be the guy to get the call on a short gain out near the original line of scrimmage. Kevin Minter made the stop, and here you go, 3rd down and long again.
It's interesting. When we talked to Steve Sarkisian, he said, you know, I watched a bunch of film of them last year, and they were unbelievable. This year they're good, but they're different. Well, they don't look too much different, I don't think, to him right now.
Even with those other guys playing in the NFL this weekend. 3rd down and 10. Again, the LSU fans awake now after halftime. Price, look out, and down he goes again. He got drilled. Micah Eugene on a safety blitz. That's a luxury you can have on 3rd down and long when you're beating them up in the ballgame.
Well, this is a mistake because there's only 4 guys rushing. It's not a blitz. Somebody's got to account for the 4th guy rushing. I mean, there's 5 linemen blocking and 4 guys rushing, and somebody has a free run at your quarterback. That's a mistake.
And now Corey Durkee is going to be punting inside his own 5-yard line. Nice kick. Odell Beckham Jr. has got to backpedal for this one and take a fair catch back near the 39-yard line. So that first series didn't go very well for the Huskies. We'll see how the Tigers do with their first chance when we come back. Couldn't tell the difference out there in the tailgaters, could you?
Be easy for Husky fans to slip into post-game tailgates too, I would imagine.
From the 39-yard line after the punt. First down, LSU, their opening possession of the 3rd quarter. On the stretch play to Blue. Blue got the corners, got his fullback out in front, and he gets it down to the 45, maybe the 44-yard line. Pickup of 17.
Well, great job by the tight end, Chase Clement. Watch number 88 come off the ball, gets a piece of one guy, gets to the 2nd level, and gets the linebacker, Timu. And that was enabled Blue to get to the corner. Really good job by the tight end getting to the 2nd level of the defense.
So Blue had a great game last week, having another good one tonight. 71 yards on 10 carries. And a first down at the 44-yard line of the Huskies. Whoops, wrong way. Zach Mettenberger will keep it, and he'll get 5 yards. Tailback went one way, so did the fullback. Zach went the other.
Well, it's the right thing to do. You know, if it's the quarterback's mistake and you go the wrong way, then just get what you can get. Actually, it looked like the back went the wrong way. If you look at the way the line was blocking, it looked like it should have been the zone play to the right. Did the right thing.
This way, it's a toss sweep to Blue, and he's got another first down to the 30. And again, following big number 44 is 272-pound fullback. Talk about a great friend to have in front of you.
Yeah. Now and again, this offensive line, we talked about them losing Chris Falk, their outstanding left tackle, in practice on Wednesday. But it is one of the best returning offensive lines, not just in the SEC, maybe in all of college football. They are big and athletic up front.
From the 30, quick pass up and dropped again, James Wright, and that is going the other way with a football. Trey Watson, but that was just an incomplete pass. At least I think it is. All the officials are saying, Trey, you just ran a long ways for nothing. This is going to be the 5th drop pass by LSU tonight. Now, the reason it was a smart play by Watson to pick it up is because it could have been a lateral, and he went the other way. But they'll just bring it back. I'm not so sure I wouldn't work on Trey Watson on that corner right now. He just ran about 80 yards. Here's another look.
This is what LSU did a lot of last week.
Ooh.
Boy, that's really close. Really close based on where his feet were when he let go of the football. They're going to take a look at it.
Yeah.
Washington. First time out this half.
I think Steve took that timeout to make sure they took a better look at that play.
We'll take a commercial break and everybody can have another look. That was a bang bang play. Look where Mettenberger's foot is and look where that ball ends up. Awfully close. Timeout challenging the play on the field. The ruling was an incomplete pass, but as you're going to take another look, this can't be any closer.
Yeah, Mettenberger's going to plant his right foot right on the 33-yard line. And the flight of the ball, I mean, appears like it is thrown a little bit
After
backwards.
further review, ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass.
Again, they have to have
Play will resume
overwhelming
after
evidence to
conclusion of
change the
immediate
call.
timeout.
They didn't have indisputable evidence, but it was a good play by Trey Watson, the junior, who scooped the ball and thought, hey, I'm going to take it to the end zone to make sure. So it goes as another drop pass and one of those plays where LSU just goes. So no harm done. Second down and 10. Mettenberger loads, pumps once and fires to a wide open man. Odell Beckham Jr.'s got it down to first and goal again.
He did a nice job of finding the open man. They also had a receiver, Landry, running deep, and he finds Beckham in the hole between the safety and the corner. Excellent job of Mettenberger working down the play. Instead of throwing it into coverage deep, he found the next receiver down for a nice completion.
First and goal at the 6-yard line. Les Miles told Holly going to the locker room, when we get down there, maybe we have to run it some more. They're going to run it here. Down close to the 3 for Alfred Blue. Danny Shelton, the first guy there, and then Tatogi, the middle linebacker, helped on the stop. Second down goal.
One thing that LSU ran one time last week in the North Texas game, not in the red zone or in the inside the 5, but they did run one option play where Mettenberger took it down the line and pitched it. Might even see that here in this goal line offense.
They're going to have 3 tight ends and the big fullback, and Kenny Hilliard is checked back in at the tailback spot. Second and goal from the 3. It's Hilliard. Follows everybody to the end zone. Touchdown. Kenny Hilliard, 3rd touchdown rushing of the year.
Well, Justin Wilcox said we want to try to change our front so we can avoid as many double teams as possible, but when you get inside the 5, you can't really help it, and they just kind of get road graded back into the end zone.
And that's what it was. It was straight road grading up the middle behind his fullback and that big offensive front, and Alamo with the point after. 10:35 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Kenny Hilliard from 3 yards out. LSU making it look easy.
A little bit smaller, but he's 215 pounds. I mean, they are all physical, hard guys to tackle, and you're going to have fresh legs for 4 quarters of games because of the depth that they have.
Hairston's kickoff. Again, Shaq Thompson 9 yards deep, has to take a knee, and they'll bring it out to the 25. Let's take a look at how LSU's defense is finding success. Brought to you by Expedia.
Well, their success is getting after the quarterback. I mean, they've got outstanding defensive linemen who can rush the passer, but they also cover well down the field, and they force Keith Price to not be able to throw on time, and he can't find open receivers when he does scramble. And then, you know, you got to block them all. I mean, the last sack on Keith Price was just a mistake, a breakdown in the Washington protection.
Last time they started at the 25, they had a false start penalty that backed them up into a 1st and 15. This time they get the play away, a little dump off middle screen, and first down, spinning for 15 is Sankey. One of the better looking plays they've had tonight, and it had to happen in a bang bang fashion.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, if he holds it a half a second more, it's a sack. Part of that is by design on a middle screen like that. You want to let that rush get upfield. It's to offset that pass rush. last minute able to get the ball to Sankey.
The tight end, or rather the fullback in there, hasn't been in there much tonight. Amosa. He's the lead blocker, and bouncing it outside is Sankey. Back-to-back good-looking plays by Sankey. That one picks up 9. And let's check in, get an update from Reese Davis. Reese.
Been a wild couple of possessions in our Dr. Pepper 10 conference update. In the Georgia-Missouri game, tied at 3 on ESPN2. James Franklin, a dart. Marcus Lucas knifing through that Georgia defense and scoring to put Mizzou up 10-3. But Aaron Murray had a quick answer. A couple of big plays got him right down on the doorstep, and then firing to Marlon Brown for the touchdown. But the Dogs missed the PAT, so it's 10-9 Missouri right now.
There have been some kicking problems around college football today, that's for sure. And on the ground, first down. And that was Desden Petty, again, a little bit bigger back, 225-pounder.
The guy who has really been quiet for Washington tonight, Kason Williams, their leading receiver, young sophomore, very talented guy. Just haven't been able to shake him loose for anything.
Josh Downs is the guy that is down right now for LSU. And their senior defensive tackles, part of that very, very deep front wall for LSU. Looks like they're working on maybe his right ankle. So play stop with 9:28 remaining in the third quarter.
And you mentioned Josh Downs, a senior. The scary thing about this defense of LSU, in their top 22, when you look at their depth chart, there's only 2 seniors in the top 22, and there's 7 freshmen or true freshmen. And now certainly there are a couple guys that are juniors that may not stay an extra year and may go to the NFL, but it is a young, very, very talented defense.
So they help Josh off. Anthony Johnson's going to come in and take his spot on that 4-man front. Meanwhile, the Huskies have a first down, again just shaded on the LSU side of the 50. They had a drive like this going to end the second quarter and came up empty. Now it's an empty backfield for Keith Price. Loads and fires across the middle. Almost intercepted. Kevin Minner had it in his hands, and now flags fly. Minner, the junior out of Swanee, Georgia, almost had himself an interception.
Well, they knocked the receiver down. I mean, before the ball got there, I think Eric Reed knocked the receiver down.
Pass interference, defense number 1. The penalty will place the ball at the spot of the foul and includes an automatic first down.
Eric Reed, not accustomed to being out in coverage like that, knocked him down as the ball was in the air. He was on the same level as the receiver, but the ball was in the air when he made contact and knocked him to the ground.
So at the 38-yard line, the Huskies trying to muster some offense here in the third quarter. And I think LSU took a timeout.
LSU, first time out this half.
Eric Reed, a preseason choice to be an all-SEC performer. John Chavis said he made a couple of mistakes last week, Todd.
Well, he's an aggressive guy, and when you get him in coverage where he's playing man-to-man, sometimes he takes some chances. Last week, 2 times he gambled or bit on a fake and gave up touchdowns. And North Texas only scored 14 points. Both of them were on throws against Eric Reed when he was covering a slot receiver. Got a little help from the official on that one. But Eric Reed, as we just saw with that penalty, a very physical, aggressive safety, an outstanding player, but sometimes maybe a little too aggressive.
Leading tackler a year ago as well as last week. Price has to throw over the defensive end, and it's complete to Kevin Smith.
Tremendous play by Thurl Simon. I mean, he was being blocked by Kason Williams, and they were trying to get that one block on the edge to spring the quick throw, and Simon fought off the block and made the tackle. I mean, we know Simon is a lockdown type corner at 6'3", 180, but did a beautiful job fighting off the block and just holding him up till he got help.
It was Lofton coming with the extra pressure that Price had to throw over, not the defensive end. But they did get a short gain out of it. Second down 9. Price pumps once, now goes complete, but is he out of bounds? Casey Williams. Foot came down out of bounds.
Well, Keith Price had him. The pump fake definitely froze the defender and gave him some separation. Tried to get that foot in. It was half in and half out.
Yep. So now they come up with another 3rd and long. Need to get down to the 27-yard line for a first down.
And expect pressure right here. This is where John Chavis, they're just outside of the red zone. Expect a little pressure to heat up on Keith Price right here.
Empty backfield. Now Sankey goes back to join Price. And they'll give it to Sankey on a quick opening draw. And he's going to be short of the first down, but he did get it to the 30, where it's going to be 4th down and almost 3. I don't think there's any doubt here, as Sark's looking at that chart as if to say, okay, I got a 4th and 3 here. Let's go get it. Not much to lose when you're down 27-3. The 92,804 making some noise. Low snap. Price flushed out of the pocket. Waiting, finally thrown on the sideline, intercepted. Jalen Mills with the interception.
Well, it started with the pressure. Sam Montgomery, number 99, is going to come inside and get pressure and force Price out of the pocket. And he stays in pursuit. And then Price on the move, just not able to get enough air under that football. And it was intercepted by the freshman, Jalen Mills.
His first career interception.
Safarian Jenkins probably the primary receiver on that play, but the pressure got to him.
Toss to Spencer Ware, and Ware again showing that determination that he wants back in that backfield rotation. Picks up 8 or 9.
Well, Les Miles told us that guys are all great competitors but great teammates. They want what's best for the team. They all certainly want their carries. The beauty of it is fresh legs for an entire football game.
Ware's going to pull up and throw a halfback option pass, and he had Jarvis Landry, and it would have been a touchdown. Thrown a little bit behind him, I guess, but not too bad. The halfback option going left with a right-handed tailback.
Yeah, that's a hard one to do. Going left, plant your feet, get your shoulders around, throw it, get hit by a pass rusher, Josh Shirley, and still had a great chance for a completion.
So now 3rd down, and you would expect that LSU will try to bang their way as they have with that ground game to pick up the first down and keep the drive alive. Ware's got it. Only needed 1, and he got 2. Tutogi, the inside linebacker, made the stop. Holly?
Well, we saw a steady dose of Spencer Ware in the first quarter, but he tweaked his big toe on his right foot in the second quarter. They spent a long time finding the right shoe and orthotic to put in there. They did a nice tape job on that big toe, and he's been out. But one of the things this depth at running back does for this team creates a lot of competition. He is not going to sit over here and watch those reps get taken away, guys. He wants to be back out there.
You got that right. 26 yards tonight, and another carry coming right here. And he is backpedaling his way, keeping those legs moving, even in reverse, out to the 40-yard line.
Well, if you take a look at what LSU has done tonight running the football, you might have thought they would be better running to the right in this game because of the absence of Chris Falk, their starting left tackle. Not the case. Josh Durasic has moved in there at left tackle, and they have been equally effective running left or right tonight.
Durasic Park over there at left tackle. Senior, 6'6", 300-pounder. He's done a fine job. Connor Neighbors in to play some fullback. And here's Spencer Ware again. Puts his head down. Whoa. And he just ran over Trey Watson. Watson got him down, but he paid the price. that hurts way up here.
Oh, my goodness. 225 pounds against 185 pounds. And the 225-pounder was running full speed.
And Trey says to the equipment guy, I think I need a new everything on my helmet. Third down and a short 2. Copeland back in there at fullback now. Another first down run by Ware and a bunch more. Right now, Washington defense just getting steamrolled by that offensive front of the Tigers and the fullbacks and tight ends. Steve Cragthorpe and Les Miles having a smile about their ground game right now, just churning out yardage as we're under 5 minutes in the third quarter. 164 rushing yards. The Huskies have -2 in that same category. Blue is back in there, and Blue off the left side explodes outside. And he goes for 15 with a stiff arm on Watson at the end of the play.
Well, we've got fresh backs, we've got powerful linemen, and we've got a very tired Washington defense right now. And they're just kind of getting bludgeoned. And on top of that, the wide receivers for LSU are doing an excellent job of blocking downfield, and extra yardage is added to the runs.
And Alfred Blue, the third right now, is about 1 carry away from another 100-yard game. LSU's got to take a timeout here. Some confusion, it appeared, in the huddle, or didn't have the right personnel in there. So they're down to 1 timeout remaining. Alfred Blue, the guy they call Shake in the shake and bake backfield. Last week a career high, tying 16 rushes for 123 yards. Tonight getting the corners both left and right, and now has 13 carries for 98 yards here in week 2. And not only is he big, 6'2", 200 pounds, he's fast. And there's his touchdown in the first quarter. There's part of the stable. You add Hilliard to the group, along with Ware, Blue, and Ford.
Yeah, Hilliard had 141 yards in the first game.
And he'll stay in there as they come out of the timeout with a first down at the 32-yard line. So first and 10. Even though they're running it so well, do they take a shot somewhere along the line here? Put the ball in the air? Or do you just keep grinding it? It's the stretch play to Ford. And he's going to be right at 100 with that carry. Tutogi, the middle linebacker, made the stop.
Well, they have been very well balanced tonight on offense. It's been more heavy run than pass, but that's fine. And on first down, it's been extremely heavy run over pass. But they have kept this defense on their heels because Zach Mettenberger has been on target when he's thrown the football tonight.
The only time the stats pass-wise haven't looked good is when his receivers have dropped passes. All of them have been on target. 9th play of the drive here. Where that time he can't get out of the way of Tutogi, the middle linebacker. Shows a little enthusiasm, and the crowd sort of responds as if to say, you know what, you're down 27-3. Scoreboard.
Yeah. Scoreboard.
You just wonder if the Huskies are ever going to get it back right now, because LSU is using this whole quarter. 332 total yards, and the balance again 179, 153 in the rush pass department. Blue and Ware both in there right now, but they're flanking Zach Mettenberger in the shotgun. Zach will throw and fires deep. Man's there. Got him. Touchdown. Cadron Boo from 32 yards from number 8.
That shouldn't happen. It's 3rd and 10. The linebacker, number 10, is playing almost in a safety position, and he is way out of position. And then on the back end of the defense, Justin Glenn, a backup safety, is in and was nowhere to help on that deep route.
Extra point is good. Another 73-yard drive by the third-ranked LSU Tigers in 10 plays. And they cap it with a 32-yard touchdown pass from Zach Mettenberger to Caden Boone. Elvis in the building, up by 31, doing a little dance. You can start dancing at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning on NFL Countdown. Chris Berman and the gang provide all the latest news and updates from stadiums around the league right up until kickoff. At 11 Eastern on ESPN2, Robert Flores, Matthew Berry, and Tim Hasselbeck give you the information you need to get your lineup set and give you an edge in your leagues with Fantasy Football Now. I know my friends are going to be watching that. Sunday NFL Countdown presented by IBM, 10 o'clock on ESPN, and Fantasy Football Now presented by Papa John's at 11 a.m. on ESPN2, all coming up tomorrow morning. And Mike's doing some one-arm push-ups, 34. Yeah, you got to switch arms once in a while. You get a little tired. Boy, this is a good-looking football team, Ledge.
Yeah, they are. They are under control. Again, offensively, I mean, I've watched LSU play a lot. They look more efficient, better balanced than I've seen them in a long time. Now, they're going to face some defenses down the road a little bit better than this Washington defense. A little bigger, more physical. Will be able to stand up to the running game a little better than this Husky defense. But the passing ability of Zach Mettenberger and the decision making that he's showing tonight bodes very well for this LSU offense.
Zach Mettenberger's had 5 drop passes. His numbers right now, 11 out of 17, 185 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. You mix in those 5 drops and he's almost perfect. And when he met with the media this week, the local media, he got a little feisty because they said, you know, why'd you throw that 1 interception? He said, I thought I did pretty good, 192 yards, you know. I had one that I wish I wouldn't have thrown, 19 out of 26. And so we were teasing him about that the other day and said, you know what, you're never going to win that battle. Not with the media. So he said, I'm going to try to keep my cool and my patience in those news conferences from now on. But remember, he's in the bright lights for only 2 weeks. I mean, Butler Community College, I don't think they cared whether or not he threw an interception. He didn't throw many.
The only guy you got to worry about what he says is Greg Studara, Steve Craigthorpe, Les Miles.
Yep.
That's the only guys you got to worry about.
And a kick again deep. Kevin Smith walks out of the back of the end zone. Huskies will start at the 25 after we check in with Reese.
Brett, last week people were lamenting a somewhat lackluster performance offensively by Oklahoma against UTEP. Against FAMU tonight, Florida A&M, that's not really a problem. Damian Williams going to go 89 and house it. Boomer up 56-10, and we are not yet to the 4th quarter. And just give you a little live look into what's going on ABC. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Richmond is the last race before the chase. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is leading the way.
That'd be huge if Junior holds on there. Here's a throw out quickly. Cason Williams, at least they get it in his hands. And we're going to take you back to that touchdown by Mettenberger one more time. His second scoring toss of the year.
Pretty simple concept. I mean, Boone's going to run the takeoff. The slot receiver is going to run out. There's a miscommunication between the safety and the corner because there was no help on the outside. The corner turned him loose thinking there was safety help coming. The safety jumped on the inside route, and that was 3rd and 10, and an obvious breakdown in the Washington coverage that Zach Mettenberger read and made the right choice.
Second down, Smith in motion toward the ball. And again, trying to get to that first down marker, and close but not quite is Desden Petty. He backpedaled his way to within about a foot or two of the first down. It'll bring up 3rd and short. Down to the final 2 minutes of the 3rd quarter. Washington started the season actually in some people's top 25s as one of those teams that was just outside that 25, the kind of the other receiving votes, if you understand. And I'm sure you do. But this is not San Diego State, and they're a pretty good football team, but they came down to Baton Rouge, and now they're seeing what the Tigers are all about. There they got a first down, and breaking through again is Petty. And that time they could have had a big gainer, except there's a flag down.
Prior to the snap, false start.
Oh, boy.
Offense number 8, 5-yard penalty. It remains 3rd down.
Kevin Smith, so there goes a wasted opportunity at a first down and moving the chains, and it brings up A third down and long, and it's the 8th penalty against the Huskies tonight.
Well, the good news for Steve Sarkisian and Keith Price in this Husky offense is they will not face a defense the rest of the season as talented or as big up front as this LSU defense.
All 3 wideouts on the left, and now that's Smith, the guy that just committed the penalty, moving back to the right. Pressure coming. They go to Smith over the middle. 45, spinning his way to midfield, and Smith's got a big first down and a pickup of 22.
Nice job by Keith Price hanging in there, knowing that there was pressure coming from an unblocked man, and he's going to stay right in there and make the tough throw. Kevin Smith shakes off the penalty and gets his team a first down.
See if he can shake off the injury. Right now he's still down, holding his shin, or maybe his knee, in some obvious pain. That's the longest play of the night for Washington. 22-yard pickup and the 4th catch for Smith tonight. Huskies just trying to get something going offensively. Smith had 15 catches last year, 4 here tonight. Had a couple last week in their win over the Aztecs, and it looks like he's okay. That's good. So back in LSU territory of the Huskies, but every time they get there, they can't get anything done with it. The only points of the ball game for Washington came just 4 plays into the game. 5 if you count the fumbled kickoff return by Odell Beckham Jr. on the opening kickoff of the ball game. And then the Huskies could only get 4 yards in 3 plays, and they settled for a 32-yard field goal. Every opportunity on LSU's end of the field they better take advantage of now. Price throws short over the middle, and Sankey spinning his way. Ooh, man, number 25 Quan Alexander let the other number 25 have it at the end of the play.
Alexander is one of those young freshmen that's getting a chance to play here early in the season. Good job by Keith Price, not forcing it downfield, taking what the defense offers him, and Sankey holding on to the football.
So another first down, this time at the 38-yard line. Price has a look to the sideline. The coach Sarkisian using hand signals to his wide receivers. Sankey for a couple, maybe 3. Kevin Minter picked up the tackle, as we might have played the last play of the 3rd quarter, unless the Huskies go hurry up here, which they will. And again, nothing for Bishop Sankey. And that will bring the 3rd quarter to a close. 3 quarters dominated by the number 34-3. Third down and 7. The Huskies at the 35-yard line. Keith Price looks one way and throws it, almost intercepted by Barkevius Mingo. And Kiki would have been off to the races if he'd have held on to that one.
Washington trying to throw a screen. They're trying to slip Sankey out for the screen, and Mingo reads it, gets both hands on it, and just couldn't pull it in.
And Washington's going to go here on 4th down. Barkevius, what an entertaining young man he was. Spending time with him yesterday. 4th down. Price deep and overshot Williams. Jalen Collins was in coverage back there for LSU as we check in with Reese Davis.
Brad, on ESPNU right now, Arkansas ranked 8th. They've got their hands full with Louisiana Monroe. Colton Browning to Kevin Steed is 28-21. And Tyler Wilson knocked out of the game. They're saying an injury above the shoulders. Hasn't played in the second half. 10 minutes to go there. Hogs fighting it out. Savannah State and Florida State game is called due to weather. Seminoles 55-0 the declared final.
Yeah, I think at 55-0, you can probably just call it off anyway.
Yeah.
Well, LSU takes over now. First possession for them in the fourth quarter, leading 34-3. Kenny Hilliard on the carry. And LSU now, if their ground game keeps working and they keep switching tailbacks like they have throughout this game, they can chew up most of the quarter. That's unless they break a long run. They might have to wait to get it back later.
Well, you work clock too. You stay in the huddle as long as you can. It's better to stay in the huddle than it is to come up to the line of scrimmage and waste time. Come out of the huddle, keep your same rhythm so your offensive line is used to coming up and going right off the football hard.
High backfield again, the toss to Hilliard, following this time Neighbors, the other fullback, run out of bounds as he got to the 40-yard line. Well, don't forget, coming up when we're done, Fighting Illini take on the Sun Devils of Arizona State in a Big Ten Pac-12 matchup. Illinois, Arizona State at 10:30 on ESPN, and also live on Watch ESPN. Big Ten Pac-12 here, SEC Pac-12, and it's all SEC here with 13:35 to play in the ball game.
Starting center P.J. Lonergan getting a little break. Elliott Porter is now in at center for LSU.
And a strike to James Wright for a first down.
Nice job by Wright, not only catching the football, but staying in bounds after the catch, too. Again, you want to keep that clock going. Eat up clock, eat up yardage, eat up the strength that's left in the Washington defense.
It's a defense that's been out there a lot. LSU has scored on 5 of its last 6 possessions. And the 6th one, they took a knee before halftime. So they weren't trying to score at that point, but a minute left in the second quarter. Hilliard for a couple more. Michael Ford's going to check back in. Just keep rotating backs. Alfred Blue started. Ford came in, then Hilliard, then Ware. Both fullbacks have played now extensively.
They got that other kid sitting down there too, number 33. Jeremy Hill is also a very talented freshman from here in Baton Rouge.
They've got 187 yards on the ground. They've got about 10 or 12 more with Michael Ford. Pickup of 11.
It's a little inside zone play with a lead block by the fullback. Just pure power. And again, this is Les Miles, the way he likes to play football. Pound the running game, have that big offensive line, go play action pass, be smart in how you throw the football.
That's why Les likes it. 43-0 when they go for 100 and the opposition doesn't. That's not bad. Remember, they're going for their 39th consecutive regular season non-conference win, which would tie college football's all-time mark. Also, they got the longest winning streak at home in the country, and this one's going to be number 19 straight. Oklahoma right in that category with them. Second down at 6. Ford again cuts it outside and then takes it back against the grain to the 30-yard line. He'll be about 4 yards shy of the first down as we check in with Holly.
Well, when folks heard the news this week that left tackle Chris Falk was likely out for the season, few hearts fell around here in Baton Rouge. But I have to say, Josh Jurasic has been fantastic tonight at left tackle, guys. He is a 6th-year senior. He had to sit out last year with a knee injury. He appealed to the NCAA. But while he was out, he was a student coach. He was on the headphones, on the sideline with the guys upstairs. He learned the game, and this is his first game playing left tackle. Boy, he has filled in nicely.
He sure has. Third down at 3. Kenny Hilliard back in the tailback spot. And he goes for another LSU first down to the 25-yard line.
And just to finish up on that point about Jurasic, I mean, he has played mostly left guard, but he has been on the left side, so he's used to that side of the offensive formation. I think the real test for him will come down the road, though, when he has to block some of the speed rush ends that he'll see in the SEC. Again, this Washington defense is getting better under Justin Wilcox, but not the caliber of defense that he will face and LSU will face down the road.
Lyle Collins, the big left guard, 321-pound sophomore out of right here in Baton Rouge, in some obvious pain. Could be cramps. We hope that's what it is. They're trying to stretch him out with 10:42 to play. Learning point for you: when you go to put your shoe back on, make sure you have your balance.
Yeah, or sit down.
Or sit down, because sometimes it just happens like that. and then you had to come out for a play.
Yeah.
So he's all right. First down. And Hilliard, who's been all right all night long, goes for 9 more as they just continue to chew up yardage on the ground, as they did a week ago against a North Texas team. And tonight they're doing the same thing against Washington in the Pac-12. We're at 10 minutes remaining. And again, they're on another drive where they're eating up clock and yardage. 6 straight runs for the Tigers. Hilliard behind Neighbors, the fullback, inside the 10 to the 9. Justin Glenn and Tokalahi from the defensive line made the stop.
This is just so disheartening for a defense too. I mean, because you know what they're going to do, and you're in there, and you just can't do anything about it. I mean, it's a combination of fatigue. It's a combination of being a little bit undersized, and this team is just running downhill on you, and you know it's coming, but you can't really stop it.
And not only that, you got a 4.5 or 5 hour flight back home to think about what just happened to you in Baton Rouge. Washington's only played here one time, and that was way back in 1983. And Les Miles and his offensive football of grind it into your face has worked to perfection tonight. Not that they haven't mixed it up with Zach Mettenberger throwing the ball around a little bit.
When they needed to, and when they needed balance, they had it.
So 2nd and goal. Kenny Hilliard to the 1. 6-minute drive. We said if they get the football, unless they have a long run, they might use most of the quarter, and they are. Kenny, who's got a 3-yard touchdown to his credit tonight, stays in there on 3rd and goal. Again, 3 tight end set. Hilliard, airborne, touchdown, number 2 on the night, number 4 on the season.
The backup right guard, Trey Turner, who was in there for Collins, led the way on that one. You had a backup right guard, a backup fullback, and a fresh Kenny Hilliard. Too much for the Husky defense at the goal line.
So not only did they use half of the quarter, they went 65 yards in 13 plays, and will make it 41-3 with that extra point. Boy, it's nice to have a great line and great backs when you're a quarterback, and you just say, Kenny, here's the final 3 feet as he cartwheels into the end zone, and it is 41-3 Tigers. Turn. That's all they've been able to muster. There'll be better nights for Keith Price, you can bet.
Well, this team wasn't playing in the national championship game last year by accident.
Right. James Hairston to kick. He hasn't allowed any kind of returns tonight. This one will be returned. High and short to the 11. Shaq Thompson, the freshman, runs into a wall of white jerseys as he crossed the 25-yard line. And we check in again with Reese.
Brad, those SEC newcomers have put on some great theater. First Texas A&M this afternoon, and tonight Missouri against Georgia. James Franklin of the Tigers with Damian Washington behind the Georgia defense. Gone. 69 yards. Mizzou up 17-9 in the third on ESPN2.
Doesn't help Georgia not having Bakari Rambo and company back there helping out on defense.
They knew that would catch up to him at some point.
First down for the Huskies. Price, quick throw. I think that was batted at the line. He was trying to get it to Safarian Jenkins as we check in with Holly.
Well, all the subs have come in now at defensive line, but one man who's made a big name for himself, Barkevious Mingo tonight, guys. One of the best names in college football, and the way he got it, his dad's name is Hugh. Pretty simple. When he had his first son, he named him Hugh. When he had his second son, he named him Hugh-tavious. So when the third son came along, Mom Barbara said, oh no, this one's mine, and thus Barkevious.
What a great story. And his mom also named him Kiki, as a little bit of a running game going for Eric Wilson. The other two brothers in the family, by the way, a little more common. Well, I don't know, they're common. Malik and Ladarian are his little brothers.
Yeah. What a delightful guy, though.
Boy, he was
really
fun talking.
enjoyed visiting with him yesterday.
Third down, something that we have said about 1 million times tonight for the Huskies. Third down. Unfortunately, it always hasn't been third down and 3. They're 3 out of 13 in their third down conversions. Not good enough. Empty backfield for Keith Price. And this one's blown dead.
There was movement on the left side.
False start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. It remains third down.
Micah Hatchie, the left tackle. You start looking ahead to LSU's schedule. Next week, they play Idaho. They go to Auburn in 2 weeks, and Auburn took it on the chin today, so they're 0-2. And then after that, it's Towson, and then at Florida to start October. So September is looking awfully good to LSU right now, as it always is. Actually, late August and late August and all of September, they don't lose many ball games. Of course, they only lost one all last year, and that was the BCS title game. Pick up a 16 to Safarian Jenkins. Here's what we're talking about. At Florida, October 6th, South Carolina back here at A&M, their first matchup of the Aggies as an SEC team. Then that big November 3rd showdown is the one everybody looks at the calendar. At Arkansas is the final one of the year as well. Going to be interesting to see what was with Tyler Wilson in Arkansas. That could change the whole complexion of that team. Price goes down again as that front wall just collapsed on the offensive front of the Huskies. Sam Montgomery, I think, is going to get the sack, the third one of the night. There's Barkevious. Not the biggest guy in the world, but he is fast. About 4'5" coming off the corner. Out of West Monroe, Louisiana, which is, I guess, about 4 hours north of here. Second down at 13 for the Huskies in the final 5:45 of the ball game. And this tailback showing us something here. Eric Wilson, true freshman. We expected we would see him sometime in the ball game.
Had a very decorated high school career. Played at Sarah High School out in California. Broke the school career touchdown record, 52.
Of?
Friend of yours, right?
Lynn
Former
Swan.
Partner?
Yeah, Swanee.
Yep.
Forget Illinois and Arizona State following us on ESPN. ESPNU, Bethune-Cookman and South Carolina States. Next game's on the docket. 5 minutes of clock time away from the scoreboard show, and then Illinois, Arizona State, another flag.
Offsides that time. LSU.
Delay of game. Offense, number 17. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
Steve Sarkisian over there talking to his quarterback. And as Todd said earlier, he knows when he's really playing well when he's smiling. And Keith hasn't been smiling too much tonight.
No, this has been a rough outing. I mean, he is really a talented player. And again, when you have no running game, which they have not had, and you are playing with some backup offensive linemen against a defensive line of this caliber, it's going to be a tough night.
Throw over the middle and incomplete. Wilson got leveled as soon as he got his hands on it by Micah Eugene from his safety spot and couldn't hold on to it.
I think Steve Sarkisian has realized, you know what, let's just get this thing over.
Yeah.
Get back on the plane, get back to Seattle, and get ready for the Pac-12 season.
And not get anybody hurt in the last 4:43. Corey Durkee to punt again.
Ironically, Steve Sarkisian's first game as the head coach at Washington in 2009 to open the season was at home against LSU.
Yep. Had Jake Locker, and they made it pretty respectable. But tonight, Odell Beckham Jr. on a rope from Zach Mettenberger going up, making the catch, keeping his feet in bounds, making a great play. His dad was a running back here in the late 80s and early 90s. His mom was a 6-time All-American track star at LSU. I think he was born to greatness to wear these colors and play at this school. Zach Mettenberger, 5 drop passes tonight. Otherwise, he would have almost been perfect. His night is done as Stephen Rivers, the redshirt freshman, in at quarterback. So Zach's got a 2-0 start as a starter. 12 out of 18, but 5 drops, and the other one was just an overthrow in the end zone by a little bit, or it would have been an almost perfect night.
Really looked in command. I mean, he really looked comfortable. He knew what he wanted to do with the football. Again, last week, some of his decision making a little slower. Tonight, very decisive.
Mom taking a picture here tonight. Meanwhile, Stephen Rivers in at quarterback, if the name rings a bell, and you just saw the promo, I think, on our last time out of our doubleheader Monday night on ESPN, the Chargers and the Raiders. It's Phillip Rivers. I'm going to say little brother, but there's nothing little about him. He's 6'8", 225. Let's check in with Reese.
Brent, Arkansas-Louisiana Monroe game. This is the second time we've seen a nasty collision today. This one involving Tevin Mitchell, number 8, who collided with his teammate Alonzo Highsmith. And you see Tevin head to head and snapped back. He was carried off the field on a stretcher. We don't have an update on his condition at this time. Earlier today, Devin Walker of Tulane was seriously injured in a similar type collision. As soon as we hear something on Tevin Mitchell, we'll certainly let you know.
Wow. All right. Reese, thanks. Back to the action here as Michael Ford stopped for no gain. And there's been very few times tonight that we have said that, stop for no gain. Guys are having fun on the sideline.
This defensive front, again, is talented and deep. I mean, they roll guys in, and it takes its toll on an offensive line. And again, when you can create pass rush pressure on a quarterback by only rushing 4, it allows you to be really creative in the back end of your defense in pass coverage.
4th down, they're just letting the clock wind down before they will take the timeout and then punt. 41-3, 2:15 remaining here in Baton Rouge.
Timeout. LSU.
About 30 pounds since he arrived here at LSU, and he is a monster. And he's going to be a really good quarterback. And they say he's come so far since spring practice that they would not be afraid to put him in if something happened to Zach Mettenberger at all, which they had to do for a play last week. Great punt and good coverage and a penalty marker at the end of it. 56-yard punt. He had a 62-yarder earlier in the ball game. Haven't had to punt much, but when he has, he's aired it out.
56-yard.
So Ken Williamson trying to get the spot right. And what hopefully will be our last penalty of the ball game.
During the return, personal foul, clipping, receiving team number 26. The penalty is half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. First down.
And that's what, about 11 penalties on the night? Makes it a longer night for your quarterback and your team in general. Derek Brown in at quarterback, as you saw Keith Price there on the sideline. We're going to give the redshirt freshman here a few snaps. We'll keep it on the ground. I like the way this kid's run when he's been in there. Eric Wilson. Washington will fall to 1-1 here in the next couple of minutes. And what they have coming up looks like this. Portland State next. Stanford in a Pac-12, their Pac-12 opener on the 27th. Number 4 Oregon, October 6th. USC the following week. Boy, that's a murderer's schedule right there. Question for you, Mr. Blackledge, after this play. A minute and a half remaining. And they keep it on the ground again as Wilson's trying to get a first down. So Alabama pitched a shutout today, 35-0 over Western Kentucky. USC had to work a little bit at the Meadowlands to beat Syracuse. Is this performance by number 3 LSU good enough to hopscotch the Trojans?
It might be. You know, it might be. I mean, you know me. I don't think there should be any poll till the first week of October. I mean, I think the team should play a whole month before we rank them at all. But I think this is a pretty impressive win. I fully expected Keith Price and Washington to come in and compete better than they were able to. Suffocating defensive performance again by LSU.
And Wilson Till trying to spin for that first down, and he's not going to get there. That was Petty actually on the carry. Don't forget to get your NFL started off 10 o'clock Eastern NFL Countdown. Chris Berman and the gang give you all the latest news and updates from stadiums around the league at 11. On ESPN2, Robert Flores, Matthew Berry, and Tim Hasselbeck give you all the info you need for your fantasy football now. Sunday NFL Countdown presented by IBM at 10 tomorrow morning. Fantasy Football Now presented by Papa John's at 11 a.m. on ESPN2. Some of the 92,804 that stuck around to the end. Those guys are having fun.
Do you think when the idea of fantasy football was ever first brought up that people ever thought it would be popular?
No, it's just...
I'm sure they thought somebody was crazy for thinking of that.
It still amazes me, and I got friends that have 3 different teams or more, you know?
I find that amazing, and I find the fact that grown adult men wear jerseys of other grown adult men to sporting events.
Well, there's some adult men here at LSU that play football pretty well, and this wasn't fantasy. This was reality tonight for the Washington Huskies. 41-3, the final score. So third-ranked LSU showing their power and win their 19th straight at home, their 39th consecutive regular season non-conference win, and that ties an all-time record. 41-3 is the final. ESPN's the home for the Discover BCS National Championship game on January 7th. For Todd Blackledge, Hallie Rowe, and our